Hey everybody, it is Eric with Low VA Rates. Today we're going to talk about what is a VA home loan. Now, if you're a service member or a veteran who recently learned about your VA home loan benefit, you might be wondering exactly what it is and how it works. Today we're going to introduce you to all of the basics of the VA home loan. Now, let's talk about why I'm wearing red. If you're a brand new service member or someone that's just learning about your VA home loan benefits, you might not have come across our page before. We wear red every single Friday because we love our veterans. And just like my shirt says, we remember everyone deployed. We take it a step further and we say it's not just about those that are deployed, but it's about anyone who's ever served. So I would like you to subscribe to our page. Speaking of red, there's a red button down to the bottom right corner of your screen that says subscribe. So join in anytime you want. By being a subscriber, you're going to be at the forefront of all of our videos when they come out. Okay, what is a VA home loan? Well, when people decide to buy a home, 99.9% of the time, they fund the purchase with a home loan. That means they borrow money. They're not buying it in cash. These loans are given by lenders, and in the United States, there are 4 main types of loans that you can get. I'm going to just quickly list them. Most popular, unless we can change the world, conventional loans. And these are the standard loan option that most people become familiar with. Another pretty popular loan out there, FHA loans. Okay, I'm going to try to stay higher up on my whiteboard today. FHA loans, which are often chosen by first-time home buyers because they have a very low down payment and credit score requirement. A third loan, gaining more popularity over time, is the USDA loan. Okay, this is a loan that helps encourage people to go buy homes in areas that are not quite developed. They're more rural. Okay, so it's just an incentive to go out further away from the metropolis, so to speak, and help develop more rural areas of your state. And the fourth, most important one, the one that we're going to focus most of our attention on today, the VA loan. That's what we're going to try to better understand today. And these loans are only available to U.S. service members and veterans, and they come with some very unique perks that you get that you will not get with all the other loan types. They're unique to the VA loan. So why should you? I want to get into some of these unique benefits on why you should pick the VA loan over these other pretty decent loans. Hands down, the most popular reason that people use the VA loan, no down payment. You know, ever since I was a kid, before I knew anything about VA loans, I knew if I ever wanted to go buy a house, I had to have a ton of money saved up because I just learned somewhere along the line in school or from my parents, I needed 20% down. That's a lot of money, especially with how high housing prices are at this point in our country. Another thing that's pretty popular, no mortgage insurance. Now, if you're not 100% certain what mortgage insurance is, I'm not going to go into much detail here, but we have all sorts of videos out there that go into more detail about mortgage insurance and why it's so important not to pay it, or not so important not to pay it, but why VA loans don't have it. Low interest rates, as our name states, is it on here somewhere? Somewhere. Low VA rates, right? VA loans have lower rates in many cases than these other 3 types that we've talked about. Something that's not as known but is huge, especially when you're an expert at doing VA mortgages, you understand this. VA loans are easier to qualify for, right? The easier qualification. I'm going to start coming over here just so I don't have to bend down. Easier. They're easier to qualify for than these other types of loans we're talking about. Less closing costs. A lot of times the closing costs, less costs. People love that. There's assistance if you lose your job and you can't make payments. The VA could step in and help you avoid foreclosure. Okay? So, foreclosure help. Easier way to put it. Number 7, there are no prepayment penalties, though these prepayment penalties are pretty much gone in our world today. If you ever owned a home or lived through the housing collapse or the Great Recession, prior to that, many of these loans could carry a prepayment penalty. VA loans never have and never will. I guess I don't know the future, but no prepay penalty. You can pay them off as fast as you want. You're not tied into them forever. So these are just many. It's not an all-inclusive list. There's others, but these are many of the benefits that make buying a home more affordable and more accessible to our veterans. I'm going to get a little bit deeper into some of them. Maybe I'll decide to do it in all of them, but I'm out of whiteboard space, so just bear with me. Let's talk about the down payment. If you're a first-time home buyer, saving up thousands of dollars could take years, could make homeownership almost an impossibility. Once this barrier is removed for our veterans and service members, you can become a homeowner so much faster. Okay? No mortgage insurance. It's right up here, number 2. Usually, a smaller down payment means you have to pay mortgage insurance to protect the lender in case of default. But these VA loans are backed by the government, which offsets the risk. Okay, so there's lower interest rates because the risk is lower. Lower interest rates, one of the benefits of having a VA loan that I talked about over here. That backing from the VA makes loans less risky for people like low VA rates lenders. And when we feel less risk, then it's easier to give you lower interest rates. It's easier to lower the qualifications that I talked about over here, easier qualifications. When it comes to your credit score, your credit history, your debt to income ratio, and other financial qualifications, the VA doesn't set like a minimum credit score or a maximum DTI. It's not a black and white approval process. They allow us lenders to consider your entire situation, which is really one of the things I love about the VA loan more than anything. It's this flexibility. Okay, if you choose the VA loan, you're going to have more flexibility. It's not you won't have more flexibility, but together with a lender like low VA rates, there's more flexibility to create a loan that works for you. We talked about lower closing costs. There are still closing costs with the VA loan, but the VA has a whole list of fees that you're not even allowed to be charged, which means low VA rates or the lender has to charge them, or has to pay them, or the seller has to pay them. You're not allowed to pay them. Okay, so by saying certain closing costs aren't allowed, you're protected from lenders who otherwise might try to make a few extra bucks on junk fees. Just can't happen on a VA loan. Something that we don't talk about a ton is this foreclosure help or foreclosure assistance. The VA has a whole team of people whose job it is to advocate for you to your lender if you come into a financial situation where you can't make your mortgage payments. It's in their interest and yours to avoid foreclosure. So the VA is going to be out there helping you find and implement alternative solutions. Maybe it's modifications to your mortgage. It could be payment deferral. There are ways in which the VA is going to be on your side, helping negotiate ways to keep you in your house until things get better. Now, like I said, the prepayment penalty is kind of a thing of the past, but I think it's important if you're trying to educate yourself to just know that this is why the VA loan's always been so great. Even when it was a very commonplace to have prepayment penalties, the VA forbid those penalties for many, many, many years. So you're free to pay it off faster. You win the lotto, want to pay it off right away. Whatever you decide, if it's something that you want to do and you can afford it, you can pay your loan off as quickly as you'd like. Now let's talk about eligibility requirements on the VA loan. Now, because VA loans have so many incredible benefits that make home ownership more affordable and accessible, it's understandable that everyone would want one. However, not everyone can get one. All VA loans require certain eligibility requirements in order for you to qualify. Some of these, like the service eligibility requirements, are set by the VA itself. For those who served in the regular military branches, these requirements of eligibility generally include 90 days of total service during wartime, 181 days of continuous service during peacetime, 24 continuous months for certain service periods, and for those who have served as members of the National Guard or reserves, the service eligibility requirements are 90 days of cumulative days, 90 cumulative days of full-time National Guard duty performed under Title 10 or Title 32 orders. At least 30 of these 90 days must be served consecutively. Only activation under Sections 316, 502, 503, 504, and 505 of Title 32 will count towards the 90-day requirement. In addition to length of service and your service dates, the VA also includes an additional service eligibility requirement for those who have separated from service. Specifically, that your discharge is classified as one of the following: honorable, under honorable conditions, or general. On top of these three service requirements, the VA has also set some requirements for the home itself. These include that the home must be your primary residence. That's important. I haven't been writing for a while. I'm going to write that up here. Primary residence. if you're new to this, you're trying to figure out what the VA loan is, how it can be used, if it's good for you, go search on our YouTube page up in the little magnifying glass or the search bar on our YouTube page, primary residence or occupancy requirements. Okay, the VA wants you to live in the home that you're buying. Another one that's important, it cannot have more than 4 units. If you're going to go buy a multiplex, a fourplex, a triplex, or a duplex is fine. Anything larger than that, you can't use your VA loan. The home also has to pass the VA's minimum property requirements for safety, soundness, and sanitation. If you want a condo or a townhome, it has to be part of the VA's approved list of developments. Let's say you love a manufactured home. You want to move out into the real rural area of your state. You want to have this big piece of property with this beautiful mobile home or manufactured home. You can do that with the VA, but there are certain requirements. For example, the home must be affixed to a permanent foundation. Now, finally, while the VA does have flexible financial requirements, lenders, like low VA rates, will still be required to verify that you're able to reasonably afford the mortgage payments. We do not ever want to put you into a home and give you a loan that you're not going to be able to afford. So what are we going to look at? Your credit history, your debt to income ratios, your total monthly income, something called residual income, which I would go look on our YouTube page for information about residual income. It's very unique to VA loans. And of course, your employment situation. You know, we hope all of this information has helped you understand exactly what a VA loan is. If you want to dive in deeper, which you're going to want to do at the time that you start using your mortgage, and look at all of the unique aspects of each of these bullet points, like the funding fee I talked about or these minimum property requirements, then like I said, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Whether you're on a plane at some point or you're on your way to work on the subway or wherever you are, when you like to just zone out, don't just scroll through a bunch of nonsense. Go to our YouTube page, put in some headphones, and you will be an expert in no time. I promise you that. You can always call us, speak with one of our licensed loan officers. They're always standing by, happy to help answer your questions, and keep coming back. Week after week, we put out new content. We hope to be able to help you with your VA loan when it's time. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.